Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about, somewhat reluctantly, the total circus that continues down in Fulton County. Always have to put this into context. A defendant, Michael Roman, made an allegation about this affair, and from the start, really, there seemed only to be the issue of a possible financial conflict. Take a step back and ask yourself, what would an affair between the person running the office and the lawyer she appointed to run the case? He wasn't, we know now, her first choice. But what would that relationship, how would it prejudice the defense? And what would it have anything to do with this huge case now, that's been basically wounded in Fulton County? You can imagine lots of reasons it would lead people to say, I don't think I'm going to support Fani Willis next time around. Lots of reasons, even for some kind of state authorities saying it's not ethical for you to have done this. This person's technically in your chain of command, but all they've, and even this law, if McAfee ever gets to it, is not very strong, but there could be cases if there were financial conflict of interest under the theory that Fani Willis and Nathan Wade have a reason to sort of extend the prosecution longer than they otherwise would, because while he's getting paid, he's making money and he's taking her on vacations. Really far-fetched from the start. But that's what we're doing here. And McAfee has let it go very far upriver. So we are now, the focus today was on a man named Terrance Bradley, who was Nathan Wade's law partner and lawyer. And what's emerged is that Fulton County Bar is a kind of small place where lawyers gossip, and he, in particular, Bradley, best I can tell, really talked out of school to the woman who happens to be Michael Roman's lawyer in this case, and who, in fact, supported Wade in the past. So what he apparently said, not apparently, we now, after he fought it tooth and nail, they tried to call him earlier in the week. He said, all I have is attorney-client privilege information, which I cannot give over. That means information that Wade, as the client, gives to Bradley to get legal advice. That's considered sacrosanct, and you can't pierce it, except we know about crime, fraud, or that sort of thing. But McAfee said, okay, I'm going to hold a hearing in court privately, just you and me. I want to hear what these statements are, and I want to rule if any of them are not attorney-client privilege. And sure enough, he did that yesterday, and Bradley had to face the music and take the stand and give this especially one fairly sensational comment, where the now lawyer for Roman said, do you think the affair started before Wade joined the office? To which Bradley said, absolutely. Now, if that's somehow attorney-client information, that ain't good. If it's just something he knows about his client, and it's to someone who's going to represent on the other side, that ain't good. The whole thing is really ugly, and that is why he didn't want to say it. But once he was forced to, he basically retreated to what seems like a lot of amnesia and unpersuasive testimony, although stuff that didn't give the defendants really much to go on in their motion to recuse Willis. He said, absolutely. Did it start for absolutely? And then when he was asked about it today, he said, why did you say that? Well, I was just kind of speculating. I didn't really know. And, he was cross-examined pretty persuasively. Wait, that's how you speculate? You say absolutely? Why would you do it that way? I don't know why I would do it that way. Do you know anything at all about, did you ever talk with them in a non-privileged way? Ever talk to your client about when? No, I never did. And I really don't remember when things started, and it wasn't really based on anything. He basically retreated and bobbed and weaved, and it certainly looked, I think, to a lot of people that he was just trying to get the hell out of a very uncomfortable situation where he had been talking out of school, but without causing damage to and therefore ethical violations from himself to in the attorney-client relationship that he has with Wade. So basically, that one statement came in, absolutely, but he completely backpedaled and prevaricated and said he didn't really know and he was just speculating. And he had one conversation, he said, where Wade had acknowledged or said something about the relationship with Willis, but that was all. And he never saw anything, never had any idea, et cetera. So I think the defense attorneys were increasingly frustrated and really got kind of nasty. Do you lie about your friends and stuff like that? Remember, the whole thing, why the whole kind of melodrama is going on, I think, is questionable in and of itself. But McAfee basically said in court, doesn't look as if he's given you anything. There's nothing. What they were hoping for is some proof that the relationship started before. Why would that help show a financial conflict of interest? What it would tend to show, and that's really, really bad, is that Willis and Wade lied under oath because they both said that it didn't begin until after she hired him. And I think it would be somewhat worse for her to have hired her then lover than to have, stumbled into an affair with someone who's already in the office. Both of them are, in all cases, it's like terrible form. I was the head of an office. You just so don't go there. But again, the question, really the only question at stake now is whether there's some reason to disqualify her, and the two reasons would be a financial conflict of interest, which really is getting nowhere, or possibly, and I don't even see why this would be justified, they could show she lied somehow. By the way, if that does happen, forget about the trial in 2024. There wouldn't even be many good candidates to assume control of a case like this, but it would definitely, Trump could check the box for getting rid of that one pretty substantial risk that includes a lot of defendants who might testify against him and the like. So it would be a major break. The question is, if the evidence sort of comes in to suggest that Wade and Willis haven't been truthful, would McAfee somehow bring the hammer down and disqualify her? There's one little mini drama left to play out, which is Wade's cell phone records. Remember that there's some suggestion by just armchair analysis from records that they got that starting in, and he even testified to this, maybe he knew that this could be happening, that starting before they say the affair occurred, the whole year before, they were on the phone all the time. Now Wade says, I was helping advise her. I've gone through political fires myself, for instance, running for judge. And in fact, when she ran for judge, I helped advise her. It was that kind of relationship, and it didn't change into a romantic one till after I was there. If there's pretty solid evidence that that's not right, now what does McAfee do? Because recall, this whole thing is, is there a reason to somehow do what the defendant, and now joined by two others, including Trump, have requested, which is disqualify her from the case? And, to state the worst sort of case scenario, if she's caught in what McAfee concludes is a lie, still, to me, I don't see why it goes in that direction. But if he were to come down fire and brimstone on her in that instance, I don't think any other court would reverse it. So he would have the sort of practical power to do it, even though, and I said this from the start, I mean, the very first comment I made, I think has proved very accurate that, the whole evidentiary hearing that he green lighted, there was really no basis. They should have made Roman come forward and give a real reason why there's a financial conflict of interest. He didn't. But by that point, there'd been and by the time that Willis testified and copped to the affair, there was just, as I put it, and I think it's a fair statement, even though ugly, blood in the water. And so there's right now, just the whole thing is a complete mess and getting messier. So McAfee will now have argument on Friday about whether or not to receive the cell phone records of Wade into evidence. If he doesn't, presumably we're at an end, and McAfee just has to decide. I don't think as of now there's anything tangible. There's things that maybe if you were in a jury you wouldn't have believed Bradley too easily on, but I don't think he has solid evidence, McAfee, of any lie, much less any financial conflict of interest. So, after this, 3-week episode, unless things change, the case ought to limp along, but it's really, been weighed down with all this sort of melodrama, and who knows what ongoing effect or, what other motions that Trump, Roman, and the like may be able to bring. And then, of course, there's the outside chance that something about cell phone records or anything else proves up beyond a preponderance, false testimony, and then, man, anything could happen. So it's really a mess down there. Gotten more and more that the case, I think, as I've said from the start, and it's just continued to sort of spiral out of control. I think McAfee, a solid judge, has really let things go awry. But here we are, and the case itself, an important one that could go to trial in the summer, has to be considered imperiled at this point, if only in terms of when it starts. Talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.